Africans as much as possible, but I think they're going to come out and play some shots and see if they can get this total done quickly.
Yeah, I think that will be the dream, won't it? Quinton de Kock hasn't been in the best of form actually in 2024, but we know what he's capable of. This might be the sort of game that he needs to get his rhythm going.
Oh, he's a class player and he loves playing in World Cups for South Africa, so yeah, I think we're going to see him come out and play quite aggressively here and try and knock these runs off pretty quickly.
One thing as well about South Africa, they have a very powerful middle order. You look at players like Klaassen, Hayden Markram himself, Tristan Stubbs, all fire in the IPL of late.
Yeah, they played beautifully. Stubbs and Heinrich Klaassen in particular are two of the informed batters in the world at the moment, I think. And yeah, they're a dangerous side, South Africa. If these two up top can get going and have a really good start to the tournament, you know, we know the power that their middle order possesses. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this goes.
Reza Hendricks join as the right-hander to the left-hand combination of Quinton de Kock. They've seen the conditions, they've seen the bounce, and also they've got an opportunity to get their first win of the tournament. Experience of Angelo Matthews is going to open up the bowling. Angelo Matthews was actually part of that 2014 Sri Lanka win 10 years ago. And they're going to need all of his experience today. He came in the bat and picked up a couple of lusty blows and a few sixes. What magic can he bring now with the ball?
Good start from Matthews. It's quite surprising how much problems he can cause for a batter at this pace. The key to him is that the ball tends to wobble out of his hand. He's got a good change of pace, he'll keep it simple, and if he can get 2-3 overs from him in the power play, that allows Hasaranga to use his other bowlers later in the innings.
Yeah, he's certainly not as quick as some of the others we've seen today, but he does have some great skills. He presents a nice seam. We saw quite a bit of seam movement earlier on this morning, so it'll be interesting to see if it still remains the same with this new ball.
As you look at the Sri Lankan bowling attack, the two slingers, Hasaranga, they are a lot more effective come slightly later in the game. That's where, from a Sri Lankan point of view, looking at this bowling unit, he's got a crucial part to play.
Which I wonder if they actually thought...
23 and then hasn't quite got that flow in this year, but we know how high quality he is. That single now brings Reza Hendricks on strike.
You think it's a slow, lowish ball, just get out there, get it as quickly as possible, eye on the net run rate. But for me, I think South Africa's approach should be to bat as much as they can, get the 2 points. They got 2 more games here in these conditions on this particular pitch. Get a feel for it. I guess that's a better way to go when you look at the bigger picture here.
I think the initial thought will be, let's just sort of get through this new ball. It looked pretty challenging. Try and play good cricket shots, and as that races away to the boundary here, thick outside edge, and that's raced away for 4, and Reza Hendricks is away.
End of the over, 6 for naught, and after a solid start, just crept away with the boundary.
Bit of width, that was enough for Hendricks to throw his hands at that one. Third man's in the circle. Pathum Nisanka in the deep, very square. He's caught on the crease though, but gets enough bat and it flies into space. That's kind of the break you expect as a batsman early, something to go your way to breathe better.
Well, a little bit more pace now coming in for Shara. And something is going to be needed here, early breakthroughs, just to try and unsettle the South Africans. No slip in play, but a sort of short, wide third. 2 deep fielders out. Deep point. Oh, deep square. Loose. It's not the start that they were looking for.
But he can swing the ball. That's actually signaled a no ball, so that's going to be a free hit. That's not the ideal start from Nuwan Tushara. The last international game that he played, he got a fifer. That was against Bangladesh, Nuwan Tushara. And unlike Matisha Patirana, he's one who's a lot better with the new ball. Gets it to move around. Went for 48 in his 4 overs in the practice match against the Netherlands.
Well, a better delivery, fuller. You can just see the intent there from the Cock. Sharp running as well. They've gone for a quick 2. And this is positive.
That was a free hit, and hence trying to have a real go at it, Quinton de Kock. And as we've seen right throughout the day, the timing just not there. Now he's read the situation well. The outfield is sand-based, and it's not gonna skid through. Look at how it holds up and takes forever to get to the keeper. Enough time. Maybe even think of a third.
I feel like he might be a bowler that Quinton will try and attack with the way he bowls with that low arm. It'll be difficult to stand the seam up. I feel like it's a seamer's wicket where the ball's going to react a lot more when the seam's stood up. So with the way the ball's released out of his hand, it's likely to skid on off this surface. So I think these batters might try and take a fancy here.
That's the challenge, what you mentioned just now, Steve, for bowlers with a lower arm. To cock that wrist, get it right behind the ball. Lasith Malinga used to be a great exponent of that, and he would regularly ask me, because I'm in the comm box and I get to see this, he asking me if he's got that. Can you see if my wrist is right behind it? Now that's what these two bowlers, Matisha Patirana and Nuwan Tushara, are trying to master. When you actually need it, when you're bowling with the new ball.
And it's extremely difficult to do. Oh, there we go, he's
The
finding
slip
the edge.
came into play there, and an excellent catch at first slip. Decent pace, 83 miles an hour, but it was that angled shape. An excellent carry.
Caught on the crease. That's what this pitch will do to you. Because of that uncertainty in the bounce, that extra bounce that stands up on you, you're not moving freely into a delivery that you should have. That was nicely bowled, that corridor, which any captain or coach would want from your new ball. Sharp take. Sri Lanka get that early wicket, but the body language tells me what they feel at this stage. Not really sure, Hendricks.
It was a great length, I think, that did him there, and it was a bit of a nothing shot, wasn't it? He just held his hands out there, and with the wicket doing a little bit, it's not what you want to do. Good aggressive captaincy with the slip in. Obviously, they need quick wickets to get themselves back into this game, and we were just speaking about whether he's able to get his arm up, and yep, that's him gone for 4, and they're 1 for 10.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant start there for Shara. See the noble overstepping, which could have been dangerous, actually didn't end up being too costly, but what we saw, really smart to the right-hander, brought the slip into play and getting that early movement. Can he cause an upset? That's the question. Can there be a couple of early wickets just to ruffle the South Africans? So the captain, Aidan Markham, coming to the crease in at number 3.
2 slips in place for Tushara.
I like it. Good aggressive captaincy. We need this.
Maybe he's got a little bit leg side there, but that's the intent you need. There's no point waiting around when you're so far behind the game.
Look for too much, isn't it? Bowlers tend to make that mistake a lot. You see the ball go away and then they look for the big hooping one. Just stay on that off stump, take whatever that comes rather than really search.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty simple surface to bowl on here. It's bowling that hard length with the new ball, top of the stumps, trying to let the wicket do its thing and produce the outside edge like we just saw, and keep it nice and simple.
Just going back to that wrist position we were discussing when that wicket fell, Steve. You need the wrist behind the ball with the new ball. That's what allows you to hit the seam. But with the older ball, you don't mind it dropping. That will allow you to get that reverse swing.
Yeah, and a bit of natural variation you see with the bowlers that bowl with their arm low. They get that kind of, I call it power fade into the right-handed batter. And if you've got the ability to get the seam up a little bit higher and swing it away, it creates a lot of doubt in the batter, and that's what we're always after.
Well, let's just take a look at the catch here at first slip by Shanaka. Just 16 metres away. Nice and tight. They came at a really nice catchable height, maybe just tailing up that bounce.
Uncomfortable height for Sri Lanka. We're used to taking slip catches around the knee or the ankle.
You'd had to put some practice in then, I guess. Yeah, very different conditions. Final ball of the over, and they just squeeze through a single. 13 for 1. So, I mean, that comes into play, doesn't it? Conditions, what you're used to. And, it's a good adapted catch in terms of pace coming through, bounce coming up and over the shoulder.
That's what it's about as well. And coming here, you know the changes you'll have to make. You know what you'll get from South Africa as well. For fast bowlers, they're not just going to be bowling slow balls at you, are they? So that's what you prepare yourself for. But under pressure, you tend to fall to your default position. That's the problem.
We're just 2 overs gone now. And South Africa has started solidly. Just 1 wicket from Reza Hendricks, but plenty of batting to come. Captain Greece. They have such a powerful, destructive middle order. Henrik Klassen to come, Tristan Stubbs. Angelo Matthews. He's actually part of the 2014 win for Sri Lanka, so he'll be the last mostly of that generation. Could maybe bring some experience and steadiness to this side.
Yeah, he was out of the match. He's done really well to force himself back into the team. And the role that he's playing is so different. The bowling, he's coming in at 6-7. A player who can try to find the boundary later on.
Absolute beauty there. Bounce. Carry. Everyone with their hands on their head.
I'd love to see another catcher in there. I think they've got to be really aggressive, Sri Lanka here. They've got to take early wickets. We still see there's enough in the wicket. He's produced a beauty there, but just the one slip, I'd like to see someone else in there.
And note, that was at 121. So imagine that happening when you're bowling at 140, 150, your bowler's hitting the deck harder.
Yeah, I'm sure the other teams watching this game are looking at this surface and thinking about the best way to go about things. And I think he's been hit right where you don't want to be hit. Aiden Markram is in a bit of pain here. And as you said, it's only coming down at 120. So, yeah, like I said, I think the other teams are going to be watching this really closely, seeing what works. And, yeah, that's got him right where it hurts.
That's right in the midships there. And it's going to be a little bit of pain. Out comes, I never really know what the physio does here, because you come out with what, some spray? I don't know. You guys know maybe more than me, but
if there's a moment not to use the spray, I'd recommend.
Oh, he's going to be in a little bit of pain here. Any cricketers have been through this.
It's just about getting your breath back.
And that's harder. It's easier said than done, isn't it? It is not a nice place to get hit.
Yeah, a couple of drinks of water, a little bit of breathing, stretch, and hopefully we'll be back. But more importantly, I think for Sri Lanka, they haven't come out here and just let the game go. The bowlers have been sharp and really impressive. But talk about Nick Nortje for me, because we're just going to see his package.
I thought he was beautiful today. He obviously got set up really nicely when he came into the game, a few early wickets, and enabled him to come in and do what he does really well. Bowl fast, hit hard length, use his bouncer, and this wicket suited him to a T. So I thought he bowled beautifully and got the rewards today.
Yeah, 4 wickets.
The type of situation, conditions that you'd like when you're down in confidence and trying to work your way back in. But credit to him, he did bend his back. There was nothing loose from him. It certainly did help what he was after. It will be better for this experience. His pitch map, of course, it looks sprayed around the wickets, the shorter ones that have got him, but you're using your lengths. The line was tight. That's the crucial factor here. There is no width on offer. When he first came in, I think we were discussing that pace and a little bit of width might fly, but he's not given that and used different lengths to great success.
Yeah, the majority of those balls are back of a length and short, which I think he summed it up really nicely. The wicket was doing enough for him from that length. Once they got through the new ball, it was about bringing it back and making it difficult and making the Sri Lankan batters hit to the square along boundaries. So I thought he bowled beautifully.
Well, all has been shaken off for Aiden Markram, and he Sees that one off quite well. Matthews doing what he does really here, keeping things tight, just probing away at the stumps and letting the surface create that extra bounce.
They'll be kicking themselves at this point, seeing what the ball's doing. They'll be thinking, 120 from somewhere. 120 would have been a real challenge for South Africa.
I might throw one more at you. Not think they'll be thinking, why did we bat first?
I agree.
Why on a surface that's so unknown?
It is unknown, but then Sri Lanka also have to think of their strengths and how they do play. In hindsight, it did do a lot more than what any of us did expect. But if they were to beat South Africa here, things had to work in their favor in the skills that they do have. They needed a little bit of luck with the bat for a few edges to fly away early and get a move on, maybe push South Africa back a little bit. That just didn't happen, unfortunately, for them. 3 gone, 14 for 1.
Yeah, I agree. I think you've got to look at your strengths and think about how you want to go about your business, whether it's batting first or chasing. But the uncertainty of a wicket where you haven't played, I think it's the smart options to bowl and see what it does. And, you know, someone might overplay their hand with the bat and you get a few early wickets and you get yourself into the game. And chasing, you know what you need to do. You've seen what the conditions are doing. And I think they made a mistake by batting first this morning, personally.
Well, 3 overs gone, 2 slips in play here for Shah. I know you're keen on that, Steve.
Yeah, I think they've got to keep being aggressive and keep trying to take wickets. That's the only way they're going to win this game. Yeah, if they're not taking wickets, the game will die pretty quickly. So I think they've started pretty well here, the way they've bowled. Their lengths have been nice. They haven't let the batters get away. They haven't given them any free boundaries. And I think they've got to continue to bowl those hard lengths and see if South Africa want to take a risk off that length.
Maybe you find another nick or two and then suddenly you could be on the edge of our seat, so you just don't know. And going back to the conversation on the strengths, yes, we all know the faster bowlers.
Up and over, what an absolutely beautiful shot. Maybe the shot of the day. Over extra cover there from Aiden Markram. Brilliant.
He just offered some width there, a little bit wide, a little bit full potentially, and that was a beautiful swing from Markram. Didn't try and overhit it, just used the full face of the bat, straight over extra cover, and he's away.
The difference from the batters we've seen right now is that positive stride he gets into it. He sees the length, just goes towards it and leans into it. Whereas a lot of the others caught on the crease because they've seen that uneven bounce. Big stride in.
Looking to just work it into the backside. We haven't really seen this good running here, actually, picking up 2. We haven't seen South Africa really open the shoulders. We're talking, are they going to ease their way in, play a bit more conservatively? Clock is 5 off 9. How do you start a tournament? Would you go for the feel your way in, or would you try and express your brand straight away?
Well, I think initially here, I think having bowled first and seen the conditions, they'll try and get through the new ball. Play, if you get a loose ball, put it away, but outside of that, try and just remain there. And then once they get into their innings a little bit, once if they don't lose too many wickets, I dare say they'll start to come and play some shots and try and help out their net run rate.
Again here, just rotating strike, not trying to overcomplicate things when you only need a small total.
It's the first 30-40 runs, isn't it? Once you get there, they'll look to get to the total pretty quickly. But there'll hardly been anything to hit. There's probably one, hit for 6. Just play your own game, wait for it. You don't have to take too much risk.
Yeah. It's the only way they lose this game, really, is if they overplay their hand in the power play, lose 3 or 4 wickets, and then you're behind the 8 ball and having to have a partnership to come back. But if they don't lose the wickets here initially, they can put the foot down and try and get these runs really quickly.
Well, that one was a bit of a grubber.
Or a hat-trick would be nice. The last time these two teams met in a T20 World Cup,
Well, we nearly had one
Two
today.
hat-tricks today.
Raj picked up 2 from 2 here. Just having a look. Mendes might have just taken a little bit of a blow on the hand. Look at that low, slingy seam position. Just died. And then maybe that caught the end of the fingers there.
The seam was nice, and it swings late. That's what defeats the cock as well, along with the lower bounce. That's where that seam position we were talking about earlier is so crucial. Gets you that late swing.
Final ball is over. And again, gone for the Yorker with that slingy arm. So another decent over there for Sri Lanka. The score 23 for 1. Plenty of batting. South Africa to come, but there's lots going on in the crowd here. A decent turnout, about 14,000 in. The sun is shining, couldn't ask for anything more in the opening game here in New York.
Lots of travelling fans in from Sri Lanka's point of view, from Canada, other parts of the United States, making the trip across to support the team.
Stands, this whole cricket stadium has been built in the last 5 months. It's incredible to see the drop-in pitch, which has come from Adelaide via Florida. Bit of work there and then pulled down to produce an interesting one. Well, Shanaka now comes into the attack.
Yeah, another bowler that has the ability to stand the seam up. So I think that's a smart move. See if you can get something out of the surface. Obviously, we saw Angelo get a bit of seam movement last over. We're going to try and see if we can see the same from Shanaka. Again, not express pace, but he does stand it up. So hopefully he can get a bit of movement and put a bit of pressure on these batters and potentially take a few wickets.
Oh, an absolute beauty. Squared him up. Just 75 miles an hour, but that movement was the challenge. Another wicket here for Sri Lanka. Maybe there's a little bit more in this game.
Brilliant take. Kamindu Mendy sliding at about a second slip, had to dive in front. It's not easy to pick that up because Markram is trying to go leg side. The back face closes through the shot slightly early. Gee, Sri Lankans excited just a wee bit. They picked up another, but beautifully bowled.
Look at that, seam up, bit of seam movement, and a tremendous catch. He's done beautifully there. That's exactly what Sri Lanka were after. They needed that wicket bad.
This is brilliant. Well, the captain has to go for 12. Just the 1-6 in that score, 23 for 2. There'll be a few more exciting moments. Maybe we've already got too carried away with the bowling of South Africa, but there's definitely something to work with here if you're a bowler. Dr. Silva with the coach as well. Be on that bench will be encouraging his players to stick with it here, put some pressure on. To the crease comes Tristan Stubbs. Arguably this is one of the great middle orders in this tournament. Tristan Stubbs has been an electric player that we've seen positive in the IPL and brings a lot of firepower.
His form in the IPL was outstanding. He plays some outrageous shots, so it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this innings. They've brought 2 slips in. I love that. I love that nice aggressive captaincy. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes about it.
Was there a tickle? Was there a tickle? No, the umpire's signalling it a wide, but the Sri Lankans are up.
I thought there was a sound. Not sure whether it was back, but the Sri Lankans really did go up straight away.
Is it worth the risk? Saranga says yes. They go upstairs. Review to go upstairs. Will be on that.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review for caught behind. Written decision is not out. I've checked the feet, fair delivery. Front on first, please.
Rifle, the third umpire. Has to make a
Yeah, it looks
decision.
like it's flipped the pad. We'll go to Ultra Edge to confirm. Yeah, clearly missing the bat. Coming through, and just glancing the pad. I'll go back on field.
Little confirmation there from Paul
First you can stick
Rifle.
with your decision not out. You signal now.
Yeah, signalled not out. You heard the noise, we heard the noise. Unfortunately, Sri Lanka was pad.
Yeah, there's the signal for taking the wide back by the umpire because it flicked the pad, but there was a noise. I'm sure I heard it on the stump line.
Encouraging signs though. We saw that one seam back in again, so keep standing this seam up. I actually wouldn't mind seeing almost Angelo Matthews coming back down this end for the next over. Keep standing it up while it's new and seeing if they can continue to get that seam movement.
And imagine, they're not the leading bowlers that you want to be bowling. If you're thinking wickets, you'll be thinking Hasaranga, Tikshana, Matisha, Patirana. You've gone to the bowlers who just do a job for you, and they're proving to be a handful on this wicket.
Again, tidy bowling. They would have been so desperate for the wicket of Tristan Stubbs. His form has been incredible in the IPL. Striking at over 190, averaging 54. We know how dangerous he can be.
Shanaka earlier in the over, angled in, holds up ever so slightly. There's not a lot of deviation off the pitch.
Oh no, gone down. Mendes, after a beautiful bit of work behind the stumps at the end of the over there, shells one. So the score 23 for 2. This is, when you're under the pressure, this is what you expect all your wicket keepers to hold on to. Really regulation, driving to his right, a little bit low, but again you would say most days of the week that should have been taken.
Three for 2. That one just dying a little bit and going past the bottom edge of the bat. So South Africa in just a little bit of trouble at the moment. So what are your thoughts, Dale?
Yeah, the wicket's been doing a lot all day so far. It makes the game interesting, and if that catch was taken in the last over, it would have been in a bit of a more of a pickle, but I think they're still going okay. I just think that if Sri Lanka got another steady runs, they could still pull off a miraculous victory here today, but like 100 runs, maybe 110 would have been pretty tricky on this day.
Yeah, Russell Arnold was saying pretty much the same. It's nicely bowled, that low arm action, just swinging in a fraction. Jimmy, how you doing?
Doing well. I'm enjoying the arm angles, the different approach to bowling. I love the side winding, is what we would call it, action.
There's the catch, previous over. Tristan Stubbs new to the pitch, little outside edge. It's not the most difficult catch, has to be said.
Yeah, that should be taken.
Yeah.
In a situation like this, when the side needs desperate wickets, I mean, any time in an international game, catches are going to be taken, but that is really important. De Kock, we know at his best, he is an absolute match winner. Beautifully bowled, just moving the ball back into fraction, just trying to cramp up De Kock as best as he possibly can.
Shara into his third over tells you that Sri Lanka really want to strike, want to get another wicket, big wicket of De Kock here, or even Stubbs. Stubbs has been in fantastic form throughout the IPL. Maybe promoted ahead of Klaasen today, but I think they strategic move so that Klaasen can get into the spinners later on.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking to do. Heinrich Klaassen with his the outstanding numbers he has against spinners is being held back at the moment. So Stubbs up there with the Cock. Stubbs on strike right now, just sliding a little bit leg side, works out fine. One of those guys who just seems to be in really good rhythm, and I think he's developed enormously over the last 12 to 18 months. Tristan Stubbs.
Little things like this, little two-leg buys, it just kills you as a team when you're trying to defend a low total. Very interesting arm action, bowling action.
Yeah, we're just having a look at how low the release is, and talking to Jimmy about this, because some of the pitchers in baseball do a similar sort of thing. Now this is the release, the low release comparison between Tassara and also Matthews, and it is quite dramatic, just releasing the ball, Tassara, in front of the umpire pretty much, just on top of the off stump. But Jimmy, you've got some comparisons also with from a baseball perspective.
In baseball, we have guys that their hands almost touching the ground at release. They're called submarine.
Skipped a little bit low that time. Nice line, lovely stuff.
My question is that a natural action for these guys? That's where as a youth they picked up and that's where it was? Because in baseball, it's you're desperate, your career might not be going the way you wanted, and you say, let me try down here.
Well, I think what happened was there's a former bowler from Sri Lanka by the name of Lasith Malinga that was wonderful, and I believe that he started doing it because he played tape ball cricket. So he wanted the low arm action so that the ball could skid on. He was basically playing in the back streets with the tape ball, where you take a tennis ball and you tape it up, and he was cleaning up batters left, right and centre. Got invited to a couple of net sessions, and the next thing he was one of the best bowlers the world has ever seen.
Last ball of the over, a little bit of movement again. We'll talk more about that the next over. 6 gone now, 27 for 2. So just to chat a little bit further about that, I mean, with Lasith Malinga also, I believe it was also a situation where he, as a youngster, was skimming stones over the water when he was a youngster. So it was something he did quite naturally as well, and it just developed on your right about the tape ball as well. But again, here's Tassara. Have a look how low he releases that delivery. And he's not the only one. Patarana also is another one we'll see later today. There's a similar thing. So we have Malinga, and now you've got Tassara, Pataranga. So a couple of guys who are special at it.
The rule book's kind of gone out the window nowadays, Hazy. Like, you talk about bowling actions, I think back in the day we talk about bowling actions because Test cricket was the form of the game that you wanted to play. You bowl long overs, you want to have a bowling action that looks after your body. These are not actions that are what you would find in the rule book in the sense of like how to bowl.
It's quite extraordinary how it's developed. With the leg side, it's just feeding the strength of Tristan Stubbs. But Jimmy, so those baseball pitchers that did it like that, I mean, one, how effective were they? Two, how much stress did they have on their body?
Very effective in short spells. You don't want to let a batter in baseball see you twice or see you too often from that angle and let them get used to it. So it's mostly come in one inning, completely different than the pitcher before you, which I wonder is the same thing.
Nicely worked. Just a single.
Not pairing the two of them on Sri Lanka together at the same time. Was that the same thought there?
In terms of Malinga and the current bowlers?
Tassara and also the one we showed with Matthews, the different release. Or Tassara and Patarana.
Patarana, yeah.
It's because Tassara is one of those blokes who strikes early at the top. I mean, they've got terrific Yorkers, and that enables them. In fact, I mean, Dale, we'll have a chat about that, about their Yorkers, because what that does